Shalom, Boker Tov. Today we're looking in the Torah, in Shemot, that is Exodus, chapter 12, verses 43 to 51. Again, that's Shemot, Exodus, chapter 12, verses 43 to 51. I might start a little early, like verse 40 maybe. That sounds good. And so verse 40 to 42. The time the people of Israel lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of 430 years, to the day, all the divisions of Adonai left the land of Egypt. Sounds like it's describing an army. And it kind of is. There are many places where Israel is called the army of God. And think about that. If there's a trivia question that you might find on the internet about when did Israel enter the land of Egypt, well, maybe you find your answer right here. Because when we left, it was 430 years to the day. This was a night when Adonai kept a vigil to bring them out of the land of Egypt. He guarded over us as we left Egypt. And it was at night. We know it was at midnight when the Malach Adonai went through Egypt, killing the firstborn. And shortly after that, we were leaving in the dark, as opposed to what you see in the movies. And this same night continues to be a night when Adonai keeps vigil for all the people of Israel through all their generations. And you can extend that to the people who are grafted into Israel. There are many people here who are most likely being grafted into Israel because of what was happening. Now to our verses 43 through 51. Adonai said to Moshe and Aharon, sometimes we take that phrase very lightly. I don't know how often God speaks to you directly with very precise words. We pray to him often. How often does he respond verbally? Here he's speaking to Moshe and Aharon. He says, and it happens a lot in the Torah here with Moshe and Aharon in particular. He says, this is the regulation for the Pesach lamb. Okay, for the Pesach. Talking about the lamb, not talking about a Passover Seder as it is today, without a lamb. The Pesach lamb, no foreigner is to eat it. But if anyone has a slave he bought for money or a servant he bought for money, when you have circumcised him, he may eat it. Neither a traveler nor a hired servant may eat it. It is to be eaten in one house. You are not to take any of the meat outside the house, and you are not to break any of its bones. This is like Yeshua talks about in his sacrifice that none of his bones were broken. The whole community of Israel is to keep it. The whole community of Israel. This would include the people who are grafted in. If a foreigner staying with you, that's a key phrase, staying with you, wants to observe Adonai's Pesach, all his males must be circumcised. That doesn't say here how they must be circumcised. It doesn't say with certain blessings or with a particular ritual which the rabbis or sages will create many, many years from now. No, but they do need to be circumcised. Torah does tell us when circumcision needs to take place. All his males must be circumcised. Then he may take part and observe it. He will be like a citizen of the land. And we also have in the Brit Chadashah where those coming into the community of Israel who are goyim, no circumcision is necessary for salvation. And so the question, but all must be circumcised in heart. And so the question comes up, and rightly so, and that would be for a lesson later, are those who are circumcised in heart able to do this? Well, you've missed the whole point about this commandment, that is for eating the Pesach lamb, not for a Seder. So, but no uncircumcised person is to eat it, the Pesach lamb. The same teaching is to apply equally to the citizen and to the foreigner living among you. So that last sentence there, would be an indicator of the answer if the situation was otherwise, what it's not. All the people of Israel did just as Adonai had ordered Moshe and Aaron. Would that it could have stayed that way, right? Through all of the Torah and beyond. On that very day, Adonai brought the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their divisions. Again, this military talk, and rightly so. We are also known as the army of God. And I hope that if you've been grafted into Israel, you are also part of the army of God. All right. Have a great day. I hope you gained some understanding and you enjoyed this video. Strider did. And so let us know. Give us your comments and your thoughts and opinions and your questions. And we'll be happy to get back to you. Okay. Shalom, shalom. I have to see to turn it off. There we go.